So that leads me to a question that just came up. How do you approach conflict when it does come up? What's just strategies for tension and conflict? And, sometimes, honestly, it's not just maybe in the church setting, but for the guys on the road, it can be tedious sometimes to spend weeks at a time on a bus, and there's just stuff that comes up, right? So from the tour bus side to the green room in the church to on stage, there's going to be conflict from time to time. So just practical strategies for how do we handle that?
I think honesty is, and we talked earlier about communication being, the usual breakdown with a ton of this stuff is actually talking about it and communicating. And that's the hard part, isn't it? Like actually confronting somebody in love or bringing something to somebody's attention. So the first part of it is definitely dropping your pride and communicating, doing the hard work, I think.
I think it's important to, as best you can, like try to put yourself in the other guy's shoes or girl's shoes if you can. Like where are they coming from? Like if Chris or Todd, like if whoever's leading the moment, they're probably not thinking about the technical thing, maybe the way that Matt or me or whoever would be kind of in charge of helping a transition or an intro happen. So they're thinking they're kind of out here with the people and they don't always maybe think about what's going on back there. So if there's conflict about that didn't go right and whatever, instead of being like, well, man, I played my part. I did exactly what was on the record. That's what, like try your best to imagine what it would be like to have planned a set list for weeks in advance. You've prayed through these songs. You're trying the transitions. What is it like to lead in front of a group of people and be the one up there and everything's on your shoulders, the pastor's looking to you to make sure that this moment is right, and try to get out of your own head and your own little bubble and put yourself in the other person's shoes, whatever the role is, and realize they're probably, what they're frustrated about, it's not about you. It's probably they just want to be able to do their job well. And, you just need to figure out how to work together and imagine, if you can, to put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah, I just want to add to that too. I don't think it's about having conflict or not having conflict. Like you should, it's inevitable. But it's about how you approach it. Like if you enter into it without the possibility that this will end a different way than what you have in your head, then you're likely going to steer away from it. Because if I know, well, Daniel's going to come to this conclusion, I'm going to come to this conclusion. What's the point of us talking? But if I'm open-minded to just getting some perspective or understanding where he's coming from better, that's always going to be a better way to approach the situation.
That's really good. So to Daniel's point, who in the room is on the tech side? Who's on the front of house side of the bridge? Okay, so just to follow up on that, when there's conflict between sort of us and them, the booth and the stage, and how we build a bridge, I just want to remind you guys that we have no idea how much these guys are carrying when they walk on stage. Some of the reasons that we're back there instead of on stage is because we could never do what they're doing, personality-wise, emotionally, confidence-wise. And so when there is conflict, just remember, like from Daniel's point, they're trying to not just remember lyrics, but they're trying to maybe introduce a new song, having to talk through the transitions, take people on a journey, have a strategy for the band. There's so many things. And they might have had a fight with their wife on the way to church this morning, or, had something going on in their lives that is just blowing up. And so I think for me, the primary point about conflict is I can't approach somebody about conflict and expect any resolution if I don't know their kids' names, right? If I don't know what's going on with their family or in their life. So the relational side is so important. And I think the biggest reason why we have trust as a band is because of the stuff that happens outside the heat of the moment. Our relationship doesn't happen on stage during the show, on the day of, during load-in. It happens on the bus, on the golf course, in catering, offline. So find time with your team to carve out time for that stuff, you know. So we're going to eat together. We're going to hang out together. If we don't have a lot in common, we're going to find some way to create common ground so that, you know, when those conflicts do come up, I know you. So of course I'm going to talk to you about it because I care about you. Right. I want Todd, when he's leading on Sunday morning, to be able to look back at front of house and know that there's a team that's his biggest cheerleaders. Right. We're all in. We're in this with you. We're worshiping with you. You know, we want to lead the charge together. So just not forgetting that, you know, they're carrying a lot and we can help shoulder some of that through relationship.